Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm an American living in France, and today I want to talk about visiting the dermatologist in France. This is something that I have to do fairly often because I had melanoma about 3 years ago. I had a place removed on my hip, and after that I had to visit very regularly. I have fair skin, and the dermatologist is something I've always been good about going to, but it's especially important now. So when we first moved here, that was one of the first things that I needed to do was find a dermatologist. And much like in the US, they're very hard to get into. You don't have to have any kind of recommendation or prescription from a doctor to see a dermatologist, but I do recommend if you need to see one, definitely go ahead when you first move and try to make an appointment. And they can be, in the US, they're always hard to get into. I don't know why that is, but it's the same here in France. So definitely make an appointment. You might have to make one for like 6 months out. I think that was my first appointment. I had to wait 6 months to actually get in to see the doctor. Most of the appointment was pretty similar. I had my appointment at a hospital. You can go to like a practice that's not in a hospital, but mine was. And I went through all of the normal check-in at the hospital, and then went and waited for a long time in the nurses, or in the little waiting area. And when I got to talk to the doctor, there wasn't a nurse in the room. It was just me and the doctor, which is pretty common for doctors here. You don't have someone else there, like a nurse or something assisting, whereas in the US, I think there was always a nurse in the room with my doctor. Sat down at his desk, which is something that happens a lot in doctor's offices. I sat down first. He asked if there were any issues. We talked a little bit before, and then it was time for the exam. And for the exam, it's similar to my experience at the gynecologist, where you get undressed in front of the doctor. And we just continued to have a conversation. This dermatologist actually speaks English, which was great because that takes a lot of the stress out of it, trying to learn or understand what they're saying. But I did have a little bit of vocabulary, and I'll put that down below, and I'll also try and share some here. Just a few things that are good to know include some good words to know. First off, a dermatologist is a dermatologue. Unless you have some kind of issue, it's pretty standard to visit once a year. So your checkup, your once-a-year checkup is your bilan or your contrôle. I did mention melanoma. The word for melanoma in French is very similar. It's mélanome. There are different kinds that I won't get into, but the general term for melanoma is mélanome. Moles, which is what they're looking for, is graines de beauté. Graines de beauté. It's like seeds of beauty. Graine is a seed, and beauty of beauty, which I think is much prettier than moles. Sunscreen, which is probably something they'll talk to you about, which all my dermatologists have always talked with me about, is either crème solaire or crème soleil. And then when it's time for your exam, you will be asked to get undressed probably, and they'll say something like, vous pouvez vous déshabiller. Déshabiller is undressed. And then when it's time to get dressed again, vous pouvez vous habiller. So déshabiller and habiller. So those are just some words that you might recognize if you're really starting out and you're not sure what they might say. When it was time for me to get undressed, like I said, we continued talking, which makes it a little bit more comfortable. But just the act of getting undressed in front of someone, in the US, you're given your a little gown or something, to a little paper gown or something to put over you, and maybe even something for your lap, similar to the gynecologist. But in France, you're not given anything. You're not, the doctor doesn't step out of the room to let you get undressed and put those little pieces of paper over you. And I know we make fun of those, but there is a lot of comfort in having some kind of covering. So yeah, you just get undressed and he does the exam. I think I was able to stay in my underwear, but I took my bra off. And then I laid down the first part of the exam, and then he had me stand up and finished up the exam, and we talked throughout. The only thing that was really awkward was he was trying to remember his words in English, and so it was taking him longer to do the exam because he would stop and try to remember a word. And I was like, oh, please just say it in French, because I'm standing here naked in front of you. Like, I really need you to hurry this up. He was really trying to be kind and really, like, I think he had spent a year in Australia or something, and so he was really trying to remember his English. And he spoke pretty well, but between my French and his English, like, we managed. But anyway, just made the experience a little bit more awkward, but he's really nice. I've been to him 2 times now, and he really stressed wearing sunscreen. He also talked to me about, because I've had melanoma, he told me I needed to talk to all of my siblings and my parents, and of course watch my kids for anything. So basically anyone directly related to me needs to be carefully monitored for skin cancer. And my doctors in the US did not talk about that. Like, he absolutely was like, you need to contact them. And then when I went back, he asked me again, and this skin cancer diagnosis was not in France. This was in the US, where I had this procedure done. And so I was just really impressed that he took it very seriously. So I had it was a good experience. But I think the most uncomfortable thing is just the getting undressed in front of your doctor. The price of the visit, I think it was about 25 euro. So very affordable, and that was without a mutuelle, which is the additional insurance. This was just regular health insurance with my carte vitale. So it was very straightforward, easy experience. If you have any questions about visiting the dermatologist in France, please let me know. Take care, wear sunscreen. Everyone needs a reminder. I've always been a sunscreen wearer. My parents were very serious about it, but melanoma can happen to anybody. So definitely wear your sunscreen. And if you're interested, I might make a video on my favorite sunscreens, because I have different sunscreens for different occasions, and for me, for my kids, for my face, for you know, every day, for like beach days, different things like that. So if you're interested, let me know in the comments. If you liked this video, feel free to subscribe. I'll be making more doctor content and just general content about life in France.